What's up, Saitos? Welcome back to the Sensei Says podcast, offering you weekly discussions with successful people through which we dig out some advice that will hopefully improve your life and my life as well. I am Sensei Pascal. Thank you for choosing my podcast today, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed to our YouTube channel. We are nearing our objective to hit the 1,000 subscribers mark on the channel. And just as a quick reminder, as soon as we hit the mark, I'm going to release our exclusive event we had on the Zoom machines a month ago with Johnny White from the Spartan Up podcast, Rob Barger, who survived the death race twice, and Mark Patterson, a former NFL player who just ascended Everest. So all of these discussions, jokes, revelations, inspiring moments from Mark's journey on Everest will be shared for free, of course, on the channel and on all of our audio platforms. So please share the love, share the magic, subscribe, hit the bell, like, comment, you know the drill. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, whatever, Spotify, the same applies there as well. And speaking of Apple Podcasts, do not miss my promo at the end of this episode. It's a premiere on the Sensei Says podcast. It's going to be a formula applied at the end of each month. So the last Thursday of every month, I'm going to offer you a vintage interview I did back in the days when I was on XM Satellite Radio. There you go. Opie and Anthony represent. No better than Rammstein, my favorite band, to kick off this brand new theme on the podcast. So vintage interview. I did meet with bassist Oliver Riedel. That was my German accent. Thank you. In 2010, Quebec City. That was the band's comeback to North America. In a discussion, evolved around authenticity, artistic, personal. I found it very inspiring. And during the recording, we did have a translator on site because Oliver didn't speak either French nor English. So everything that the translator says is absolutely 100% Oliver's answer. And you'll be able to hear Oliver's answers in German in the background. So enjoy. Hey guys, I'm super excited to be with Oliver Riedel. He's the bassist from Rammstein, one of my favorite bands of all time. And Oliver, I wanted to know first, how did the theatrics of the band come about? Meaning, all the special effects on stage, was that determined from the start of the band?
When we started, we knew that we wanted to be different from the other bands that existed at the time. During that period, our athletic staging helped us cross over to the American market, especially since our music already sounded just like the Americans. Stage performance was actually part of our work right from the start.
And what would be maybe the inspiration behind the theatricality of Rammstein? Maybe a band or maybe something else, but what was the inspiration behind that?
Back then we heard a lot of Laibach and Ministry, and that was inspiration to us. Through the process, we found our identity. We were also finding inspiration in our German culture, its history and political events, and our music reacted to them violently. Nowadays we still get inspired by German culture and other subjects as well, but we have toned the rage down a bit.
I've read somewhere that the band Kiss was a huge inspiration, at least for Till, the singer of the band, in terms of pyro and all of these costumes and makeup on stage. Is it the case for you or any other members of the band?
Definitely not for me, maybe for other members of the band, but not because of the staging or the makeup, but rather because of 2 or 3 songs. What inspired me then, musically speaking, were bands like AC/DC.
I've also read a quite interesting quote from you guys. You said that if French was the language of love, then German would be the language of hate. Could you elaborate on that?
Each language has a certain feel, and thus it's probably right that French is the language of love. I think German makes good music because you can sing well in German, and that's about it. It would be nice if every country, or if the music coming from every country was in its native language. Each language has its own musical characteristics.
So what would you say differentiates languages? Would that be the actual lyrical content that is written, or the particular sound and tone of each language?
German phonetics go very well with our music, but I don't know for sure if I answered the question properly.
You haven't performed in North America for a decade now, so what do you expect for your first show back on this side of the ocean?
We had a break of 2 to 3 years anyway, including the production of an album. Then there was another year off. Of course, we are a European band, so we did concerts in Europe first. For now, we don't really know what to expect. We're playing in Canada today, and our expectations match what we've seen here. I looked through the audience and saw enthusiastic young people, but I don't know to what extent one can now draw conclusions about the USA, for example.
Did you guys know that tonight you won't be playing in front of a crowd that's going to be exclusively North American? I mean, from maybe the eastern part of the US, Canada, or even the province of Quebec. But we've been told that tickets for the show have been sold throughout the world, namely Europe and Sweden. So Quebec City tonight becomes an attraction pole for fans of Rammstein and fans of metal as well. So have you noticed that during your stay here?
Of course. You can see that when you walk through the city. People come up to you and want to take a picture, and they are often not from Quebec, but somewhere else. I could not measure it, but you do get a lot of nationalities.
Rammstein's music has been categorized as tense metal, which means dense metal. Could you describe that subgenre of metal/industrial music?
Well, that's more of a term. It comes from an earlier era of ours when we played metal otherwise. Maybe it's the beat in our songs. In the meantime, our style changed a little as the fan base became wider. As for the musical spectrum, or which music genre this is now, you could perhaps describe it better. Me, I would call it a genre of rock music.
Rammstein has been renowned to perform on stage bare-chested, showcasing your muscularity. So, super important question right now. Who bench presses the most in the band?
Till is, of course, the strongest of all of us.
I really hope you did enjoy that discussion with Oliver Riedel from Rammstein. You can see right now on my social media, you can see the picture that I took with Oliver. The guy's about 6'8", and I'm 6 feet tall, so he's pretty tall. And my young and beautiful face that you may see now on my Twitter account. And yeah, the smile from ear to ear, kind of a groupie feeling. But hey, I enjoyed my presence with the band. That was a super trip for me, and I really hope that you enjoyed that trip as well. Though short, but that happens when you meet very popular people. You oftentimes don't have all the time in the world to talk to them, even though you'd speak with them like for hours on end. But I really, again, hope you liked this week's podcast. And as a matter of fact, let's review what I did learn through this interview. First, dare to be different. Everyone is doing what everyone else is doing, so dare to find something that will make you stand out from the masses. Second, culture is inspiration. So your history, whether local or let's say I come from a karate background, so I really like Japanese culture, right? So Japanese culture for me could be super inspiring for a project, say a song, a video, a film, a poem, a book, whatever you want to call it. But try to immerse yourself in a culture which excites you, from the political events, from the music, the art, and that will elevate your creativity, I am sure. Third, anger is creation. Any powerful emotion is a very potent vector of ideation. So love, for example, like 75% of all the songs in the world are about love. Why? Not just because it's cute when it's Justin Bieber saying about it, right? But just because it comes from a deep part of our soul, of our emotional system, something very powerful. So when it comes to nourishing your creativity, all the powerful emotion that you may live, and which includes anger as well. It's not because it's a quote unquote negative emotion that it cannot be reused as something creative or productive. So whatever you're feeling, but in terms of metal music, it's mainly anger, anguish, and all of those negative emotions that are portrayed through the music, but they are very potent vectors of creation as well. Don't dismiss them. Now, what I'd like to know is what you took away from my interview with Oliver Riedel. So please leave it in the comments or just reach out on my social at Sensei Says Pod. Now, I did speak about a super promo, a sweepstake, a giveaway, if you will, on the Apple Podcast platform earlier on. So here it is. If you want to earn a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card, oh yeah. Budget ain't a thing here on the Sensei Says podcast. You have to leave a review, positive review, and a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast if you think we deserve it. And amongst all of the people who will leave a review by July 15th, I will give away one $100 Amazon gift card. So please do so. Share to a friend. Go on, go nuts. Help us out. Really appreciate it. And also don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube channel. You want to get the episodes fast and first. There's one way to do that. Sign up to the newsletter. And on that note, Saitos, I'm going to see you next week. Us.
You don't have to go through a near-death experience to change your life, because on the other side of fear is where all your dreams live. But most people are just afraid to charge at that wall.
There's a thing called the progress principle that through history, through data, through whatever, that we as human beings achieve happiness through progress towards a goal.